host is saying that we both sound good, so in that case, I will go ahead and get started. Thank you
Uh,
so much, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the last podcast of Krypton. I'm here with a very, very, very special guest who is also one of my teammates, Echo Fox Scar. How you doing, man?
what's up? What's the deal?
Hey, man, we just out here. We're just out here grinding. We got NEC in 2 weeks, so there's
Yeah.
that. And I got bodied by a cold for a little bit, so I'm gonna sound like Squidward throughout this entire podcast.
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. Well, I seen you put something out on Twitter about that. Um,
Yeah. But I mean, hey, we're here. We're still grinding. So
yeah.
I I mean, basically, I can go ahead and start off with like an obligatory question that I ask a lot of my guests, and it's basically how you got into fighting games. Because when I first like knew about you as both like a stream monster and as someone who played MK9 a lot, I saw you grind Scarlet in MK9 along with a few other characters.
Mm.
Was MK9 your first fighting game that you got into competitively, or does the history go deeper than that?
No, MK9 was my first one. Yeah,
MK
that was my first competitive game.
Got it. Was that the fighting game that got you like into the whole passion, or was there like anything else you played before that which basically made you fall in love with the craft?
Uh, like before MK9 dropped, I've always been around fighting games,
Mm-hmm.
but I was never good at them. My cousins owned them, so I would always be at their house like every weekend or something like that, and they'll probably have like Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat, So fighting games has always been a part of my life, but I just never took big interest in them because I didn't know the deep side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was too young. When you're a kid, your main thing really is probably like adventure games or RPGs or something like that.
Of
So
course.
that was my focus. I would play Call of Duty Zombies and just casual stuff. But MK in general has always been a part of my life in some way
Mm-hmm.
coming up. So when MK9 dropped, I wasn't a big fan of the 3D side of things.
Right.
I didn't like the 3D games that NRS was putting out, so I kind of skipped that whole thing. I think the one that I played was it Deception? I
Their
think.
their 3D games, yeah, it was Deadly Alliance, Deception, and then Armageddon. Those were like their three big like 3D.
Which was the one that they snapped Liu Kang's neck? That was the one that I
No,
played.
that was
I
Deadly Alliance was the one where Shank
Oh, that
sort of
was
like
Deadly. Okay, I actually like Deadly Alliance, but like some of the later ones, like it started getting out of hand when Armageddon and stuff came out. But I skipped most of those, and then when MK9 finally dropped, something just told me because I was still doing my casual thing, playing adventure games and just bullshitting.
uh-huh.
And when MK9 came out, I seen the main thing that made me want to play it is I seen that they were getting back to the 2D side of things, but also mixing the 3D in with it. So
Right.
I was like, oh, okay, I like this. I was like, they're going back to the old style, but with a new twist to it. So I was like, I'm gonna play it, see where it goes. And I was like, now that I'm a little bit older, I'm not gonna just get on and mash. I'm gonna actually try to learn.
Right. You're
And
older and wiser, of course, so
yeah, I was wiser, so I didn't want. I wanted to try a different approach,
mm-hmm.
and I still didn't know about frame data or anything like that. I didn't look that up immediately. I didn't search. I didn't know about neutral and all these other big terms and stuff when it came to the competitive side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I was just an online warrior, and I learned um, most of what to do and what not to do just by playing. I didn't know frame data and stuff, but I knew if I would do a certain move and I couldn't block in time, I was always getting punished.
Right.
Then I knew not to do that move, and if I knew something was kind of cheap, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was basically doing until I guess I don't know how I found out about the competitive side. I guess that came when I was still online, and then I came across Star Charging,
Right.
and I was playing him. I think I was in the Emperor clan too at the time,
Same here, man.
and my name, yeah, the Emperor Boys,
Mm-hmm.
and my name just started floating around about how good I was just by playing online. But it wasn't until I fought Star Charger and then Star Charger was like, "Yo, we got a group of guys down here. who play the game and they travel for it and they play competitive. And when I finally did meet up, and these offline guys were the Cage Boys.
Mm-hmm.
It was already around before I even jumped into it. So it was Cat, Showtime, Lumberjack, Matt. It was pretty heavy before I even jumped in. So I finally got into the offline side of things with them, and that's when I started getting blown up because I was so used to doing online things and it was working. But these guys played on a whole other level, so they blew me up the first time I came around.
Right.
But they put me on to the more competitive side of things and frames and stuff like that. Because when I got over there, they was talking about frames, and I was like, "What the hell are y'all talking about?" But they broke it down to me, and that's when I realized that it was a much deeper side to it. And I just started grinding with them boys, and eventually we all became buddy, and they're like my best friends now. We like family, and we just started traveling, and yeah, man, pretty much the rest is history. I just kept grinding and taking my losses and traveling when I could. I couldn't go to every tournament, so most of the time I was just watching from afar. I see Rio and CD Junior and all them boys doing their thing, wishing that I could be out there, but I just had to watch from afar until the next time I was able to travel again. But it eventually became a passion of mine by just playing the game, because the gaming has always been a thing with me. And to actually, when I was learning MK9, it's like, man, I'm actually learning. I'm actually doing combos, and it make you want to go even further. And it just drove me, man. And seeing them guys out there compete, it just made me want to be right there with them. So that's how my passion grew.
It's so crazy how just the way you describe it, like a quick exchange of PSN messages with Star Charger online, basically changed your life in the long term. It just thinks like, what if there was an alternate timeline where it's like you and Star Charger never bumped into each other online? Like how, like would Echo Fox had happened? Would your MKX dominance have happened? Would like all this had happened?
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about it.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, in MK9, you were very, very well known as a Scarlet player. And most people viewed Scarlet as a really good character, but I mean, no one really used him at the level you did, besides, Crazy Dominican. He had his, like, Scarlet phase. So, what got you into such an uncommon character in Scarlet? Like, what clicked with her that you just saw something in her that no one else did?
I'm kind of a guy who likes execution characters. I like the challenge. I kind of secretly pride myself on my execution. And I'm not just talking about when it comes time to compete and stuff, to have your execution down on point. I'm just talking about in terms of maybe using a character that people might say is you're having a hard time. They're having a hard time learning. So I'll probably try to go to that character and see what kind of style I can bring to it. And that's kind of what happened with Scarlet. She came out, and it wasn't just about execution at the time. I don't know what gravitated me towards that character. I think it was just her whole design, the lore behind her, to know that she was in the old MK games, but she wasn't really meant to be.
Right.
So, I mean, and then I seen like the little trailers they were putting out, and it just made me want to play her even more. And I was like, yo, she looks dirty, and she was a female ninja, and I liked it. And so I picked her up, and people were still saying that she was a hard character to use and stuff like that. And when I seen her tools and I was playing it, and the more I played her, the more I realized how strong she was, and I was like, yo, this character's kind of OD. But I couldn't show it because I couldn't travel like the rest of them boys. And when Crazy Dominican was using, shout out to him. I don't know, man. Like, he was getting all his praise, and I'm like, man, y'all boys just don't know what she could really do. Like, he was doing stuff, but I had some shit, but I just couldn't get out and show it.
Right.
To this day, I think that she was a top 5 character, and Sonic even says the same. Like, the character was dumb, but I just couldn't get out and compete to show why she was so freaking good. And we had guys like 16-bit. He swore up and down, and a lot of people in the community swore up and down that she wasn't even top 10, and she couldn't fuck with Katana and all that. It pissed me off, but I had to hold it because I couldn't get out and show them why. That's why she was such a threat. But yeah, man, I fell in love with that character, and I was hoping she would return to MKX, but sadly she didn't.
Yeah,
Maybe MK11.
maybe
Fingers crossed.
we'll see. And now like you have all the time and all the opportunity to travel, so maybe you can prove 16-bit wrong, even though he's not a competitor anymore.
Yeah, but I kind of want to run like a first to 20 or first to 15 with 16-bit. Tell them to hop back in that lab with MK9 Katana, because I always wanted to play him in like a set, but I never really got a chance.
You should do like a GGA gauntlet from like the old days, like 16-bit, Dizzy, Han, Waffles,
Yeah.
all those guys, just like back to back to back. And I remember you did. I know you didn't have the opportunity to travel as much, but you caught lightning in a bottle at final round 2013. Wait, was it 2013 or 2012 where you got third place? I think it was.
I think it was 2013.
Yeah,
I want to say.
2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got third place at that tournament. So after that placement, did any of the opinion on the character change? Were you able to, you know, kind of get a few
I mean,
apologies in order?
I mean, even though I got that placement, I was still seen as that guy who, he didn't come out much. Therefore, that placement
Mm-hmm.
didn't really hold any weight. I feel like it would have been different if I was consistently coming out and making those top eights and those placements, that people would have started acknowledging her more
Right.
and putting her in that top eight, maybe possibly top 10, possibly top 5
Mm-hmm.
category. But I was proud. I was proud of uh, how far I made it in that tournament, and I was proud to show that, hey, this character is a threat.
You beat a bunch of huge names.
Yeah. I beat a bunch of huge names, and I feel like when I did that, people took notice, and they was like, maybe he has something when he says this character is OD. So,
Yeah.
I was happy with that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then what's actually kind of interesting is, not talking about Injustice One for right now, since that's kind of a different topic. When MKX rolled around, a Demolition Sonya wasn't that much on the map either until you showed up and basically made history with her. So it's like you were an innovator with an uncommon character in Scarlet, and you were also an innovator with an uncommon character in Demolition Sonya, which
Yeah.
of course just like came out of nowhere. Like first you had SoCal Regionals where you sent Forever King to losers, and then you had KIT where it's like you just got second place, beating like half the world's population with that character. So yeah, it's kind of like the same question with Scarlet. What did you like? How did you get into Demolition Sonya? Like, how did you discover what everyone else kind of missed out on with her?
Uh, I mean, first, let me make it clear. I never really intended on playing Sonya when the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was more so on Jax because I loved Jax playstyle in MK9.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'm coming back and I'm a main Jax.
Right.
Since Scarlet didn't make it in, but Showtime, who main Sonya in MK9, tried her, and then he was like, "Man, Sonya's ass." And I was like, "No, bro, she got mixed." I was like, "She's not ass," and I was like, "I'm gonna prove to you she's not ass." And then ever since then, I started playing the character, and then, man, I don't know how demo started to be a thing for me. I think maybe I didn't pay any mind to how strong demo was until the reload tech was found.
Right.
Then I was like, this is cheap. I was like, I'm gonna roll with this variation now. So I started playing that variation, and people played it. It wasn't just me playing it. Other players played it, but my style of play and how I played it was just so different from everybody else's. I can't quite put my finger on why it was so effective and why others couldn't achieve what I achieved with the character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the thought process or what, but yeah, man, I guess it's just the certain style that I bring to the character, and I always like to put my twist on things when I play a character. Maybe a character is used to be playing a certain way, but I try to play them a different way, my way, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this character right now that I'm working with in the lab. I can't tell you who I'm using, but
Of course.
I'm trying to be innovative. So yeah, I just feel like I said, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's just my style, man. The style that I brought to it made it so effective.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, where you kind of put your own twist on characters. You got your Supergirl with your optimals and your freaking like air dash, air cancel things, which are like kind of insane. You got the dive bomb and the rush down Superman,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of like you said, how like Showtime downplaying um, Sonya kind of inspired you to play the character. That kind of reminds me of the time back when like you and I chilled at that Echo Fox convention, and I tried to swear up and down that Swamp Thing was a broke character, and then you're like, no, he's ass.
It didn't go so well.
It didn't. I got like so my blood got so boiled that I just ran into rank to try to prove it to you, and then I got
This
mopped.
man Theo woke me up at like 7 in the morning, man. It was like, yo, Scar, wake up. I was like, yo, what? Yeah, what's up, Theo? He's like, yo, I think Swamp Thing is low, kind of broken, man. It's kind of low key broken. And I
Oh
was
god.
like, all right, Theo. He's like, and he wanted to prove it to me. So he's like, yo, watch this, man. Went into ranked, played some scrub, got mopped.
Yeah, like the scrub didn't even know like how to play basically.
So I was like, all right, Theo, that's it. So I went back to bed. I was like, come on, man. Wasting my time waking me up with that. But now I don't know. Nowadays, Swamp Thing looking kind of a problem with these recent buffs.
Yeah, he does. I mean, we'll see. I'm still traumatized from playing the character due to that night, along with me just getting like embarrassed on stream using him. But I mean, if guys like Biohazard or like Decay
Mhm.
can prove me wrong, then by all means, I will apologize publicly about the character.
Yeah, I know you got a Swamp Thing. I see you playing him sometime, but
He's
I don't know if you would. I don't know if you would ever bring him out in tournament. I don't know if you ever plan on doing that.
there's no way with like that kind of money on the line that I would bring out
Yeah,
Swamp Thing unless
yeah,
it's like one of his 9-1 matchups. But
yeah.
but I mean, speaking of like Echo Fox, and I see you have that dope ass bomber jacket on.
Dope is.
It is. It really is. Tell us a story how you got into Echo Fox. Like, how did that all happen?
um, man, this is something. Honestly, I didn't even expect to get on with the team. It wasn't something that I went looking for. Because at the time that they reached out to me, I was going through. I was basically in the battle to try to stay alive. Because I was real sick at the end of 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was going through that. The doctors working on me and stuff like that, and I think after I got out of the hospital. Matter of fact, I don't know. No, I didn't. I didn't talk. I didn't. I think I talked to Sonic a little bit before I got sick,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Yo, Scar, I got something big that I'm working on." And I was like, "What you talking about?" And then he let me know who they was, and it was Echo Fox, and he basically told me what it meant
Mm-hmm.
to me as a player, and I was like, I was taken back, man. I had tears in my eyes because, especially being in the NRS scene, um, you don't expect something of this caliber to land at your doorstep. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And so when he told me that I might be on, because he had all this wild success that he was having
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of years now, and just I think he chose me to come along with him on the team because of how dominant I was in MKX, and I was that guy who at the time nobody was giving him a challenge except for the Yomi boys.
Mm-hmm.
The Yomi boys, and after they kind of died out, um, when nobody really giving him a challenge, and that's when I stepped up
Mm-hmm.
because I had got signed with a Ultra Arcade. That's how I was able to travel a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I made my debut at KIT. Was it KIT?
That was the first time I saw you with that tag, so it might have been.
Yeah, I think it was KIT 2016. And went to that tournament. And then after that, you know, I made grand finals there, and after that, man, I was consistent as hell. I was like always second place for the most part of any tournament that I went to, like
Mm-hmm.
steady going up against Sonic Fox, like a hell of a lot of times. And he seen that, and he seen that I was his rival, and that I wasn't afraid of him. I wasn't intimidated like the rest of these people might have been at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he took notice to that. And when it came time for him to go to Echo Fox, that's when he had called me and let me know. And it's really a blessing, man, and it's really an honor because when I started this, I never thought about being in this position. When I started this thing, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about well, it was about recognition,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't about trying to have fans and stuff. I did it because it was just something that I thoroughly enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
that I loved, and I realized that I had a passion for. I never knew that I would have a passion for fighting games. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I say, when I picked up MK9, uh, my goal was just to learn it and learn how to do a combo.
Right.
And I never imagined that I would be on big stages competing for thousands of dollars and stuff like this, and being on TV and being signed to one of the largest esports group. And yeah, man, I'm just blessed, and I'm thankful that I'm in this position, and all my hard work paid off because I put so much blood, sweat, and tears to it, and we all do. We all do to get where we at.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very grateful for it.
Wow. Did someone like cut onions in my room, man? Because that was like really, really, really heartfelt.
Oh, not to mention like, no, like I gotta let them know, man. Like this is not for me. This is not overnight. This is like 5 years of like most of my years have been failure, and I finally took off in 2016. But before that, I was around like in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to multiple Evos. I went to MLGs and tournaments in between, and I always came up short, and I always come up one away. Like in one of the Evos, MK9, I was one away from top 8 with Scarlet, but I got beat by Rio. And the same thing happened, I think, with Winter Bars at another MK9 tournament at Evo, but I never gave up. And I didn't give up because it's something that I actually love doing. I love to travel. I love to compete. So I would just, whenever I would lose, I was, whatever job I was working, I would stack my money up at the time,
Mm-hmm.
just to try to make it out to another event. And so people got to understand, like this didn't happen overnight for me. Like it was years of hard work. So I just want to throw that out there.
Wow. That was very beautifully and poetically put, and like the perfect way
Yeah.
to answer that question. I guess the best way to transition that is to basically ask you like just the difference in lifestyles, because you spent a good chunk of your grinding and your competitive like playing either unsponsored and just having limited access to travel to tournaments. So now that you're with one of the most prominent esports sponsors in the world, how has your lifestyle been different between back then and now? Like, how's your grinding lifestyle been different? Just how's your, basically state of mind when you grind been different? Like, what's the before and after like?
I I I haven't really switched anything. I think the main thing that has changed for me is the amount of traveling that I do.
Right.
It can get tiring sometimes, and especially having a set circuit now
Mm-hmm.
is something very new to me because the previous years we didn't have a set circuit. We wasn't like these tournaments. Yeah, they held weight, but they didn't hold weight like they do now because now you have points involved and a ranking system and stuff like that. So now it's really important for you to get out to these tournaments. It's almost mandatory if you want to stay in the running to try to make it to finals and stuff like that. But before then, when I wasn't sponsored, I could pick and choose maybe 1 or 2 tournaments out the year.
Right.
1 or 2, 3 at the most out the year that I would attend. Now you're going to 15 tournaments or something like that. And this is like every 2 weeks, but it's monthly, but you might have one a month or two a month. You never know. And that's how it was. That's how it is currently. And it can take a toll on you. And it's something that you have to get used to. And I find myself trying to get used to it. Because it seems like it's not going to go anywhere. This structure is going to be, as we grow, this structure is going to grow. And it's not going to go anywhere. I feel from this point on, I feel like we're going to have circuits.
Yeah, and I also think that it's going to intensify too, because one thing that NRS did, which was kind of a huge step forward in my opinion, is they were able to give more premier tournaments to the European regions. You had Viennality, you had Versus Fighting. I think you had this other ranking event in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's not just that like we're gonna have to travel a lot more. It's also that you're gonna have to travel a lot more to like different countries from time to time if you want to stay in the running.
Yeah.
It's like what if for season 2 you're on the cusp of like, let's say, the 16th or 15th spot, and then your last opportunity is like all the way in United Kingdom or in Ireland. Like you're basically gonna have to get used to situations like that maybe one day. It's
probably gonna be like one of those situations where like, dang, you didn't plan on having to do this, but you gotta go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of those situations, and you might have to travel across the world just to get them points, man, and stay in the running. It's just how it is.
Yep, and it's like, oh, your final like 70-something points that you need is all the way in UK. Better run to the post office and get yourself a passport, man.
Exactly. Moving forward, man, the players are gonna have to have passports because you just never know what opportunities are gonna be had overseas. I mean, I see on Twitter that they be having 20,000, 10,000. They had a big MKX tournament. I think Dragon went over there and won it for free. Like it's plenty of opportunities, man. I don't remember the name of the tournament that he went to.
It was somewhere in Canada, right? In one of the Canadian tournaments, I think, was it? I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what tournament you're talking about. I just can't remember exactly where it was, but I know that he won it, and he won like 10K or something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he won like 10K. I think it was like a little bit after final round too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, definitely gotta get the passports so you can cash in on those opportunities out there overseas.
Definitely. And speaking of the sponsorship life, I feel like to maintain like one's status in the sponsorship, like top 8s, winning tournaments, being a winner, that's a huge part of it, and there's no doubt about it, because at the end of the day, like, that's why so many people got their sponsorships to begin with, because they're so dominant. But I feel like nowadays another like side of that is being an entertainer, maintaining a healthy relationship with your fan base, just like promoting your brand, promoting your team. I feel like that's like the next half of the battle besides placing. So now that you're in such a prominent sponsorship as Echo Fox, do you ever feel the need to like balance out the time you put into grinding versus the time you put in being an entertainer and promoting your brand? Have you ever like had like that kind of strive to like balance both things out? And if so, like what do you do to like promote your brand?
For me, mostly I find myself grinding a lot, but also I don't know. I guess I have the following and the fan base I have because of the achievements mostly on MKX that I had. And I do want to still cater to the fans, but I have to find out how to go about that because I'm not just big computer savvy. But I do want to start branching out and doing YouTube and just putting matches out there because I know people would like to see more sets and stuff from me and different content.
Right.
But I just have to, I guess, pick somebody's brain who knows that side of things heavily, because even for me to get my stream stuff together, I had to go to some friends of mine so they can help me because I got a capture card built into my PC and stuff like that, but I didn't know how to do any of all that stuff.
Me neither.
So they helped me with that, and just like they helped me with that, I gotta find somebody who to help me with uh, the media side of things
Mhm.
to put content out there, and because I don't want to just start something and then be struggling to find content to bring. But uh, I think like I was talking uh, to Darth Alma,
Mhm.
and he gave me suggestions on uploading sets and starting a YouTube, and he even offered to, you know, do some commentary over it if I need be. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to look into that, and hopefully I can get that out to you guys and to people who want to see me uh, get sets against different players.
Mhm.
And I'll be able to do that and push it out there with some commentary and at least do that for now until I can find some other stuff that I can put on YouTube. But first and foremost, I need to figure out the whole YouTube side of things and the PS4 and uploading and all that other crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, that's where I'm at with that. But aside from that, I stream every day, and I just, I
Which is huge.
communicate every day with my fans that way.
Yeah.
I stream a lot, so they see me pretty much every day. So I mean, that's what I'm doing as far as that balance.
I would say your bald scar mode is like immortal right now in the NRSU
Bro,
Twitch
it took
community.
off, bro. It took off.
I
Like
would
I go to different streams and see it, man.
I would
It's
say
crazy.
that like there were two reasons why I subscribed to you, and I'm gonna say reason number one is much bigger than reason number two. Reason number two is because I'm your friend and I want to support you. Reason number one is because I wanted that emote, and trust me, I wanted that emote like a lot. So it's
Yeah. That emote, man. That emote is legendary, man. I mean, like I could have not put that picture on Twitter, but it's like you got a hold of it, and then it just took off, bro. Like it just blew up.
it really really did. All right, so I'm gonna pay attention to your YouTube, and I'm gonna see if you're gonna do the classic, because you know how there's like a lot of fighting game YouTubers that like 100% of the time they only upload their wins and they never upload their losses. Like that's classic number one, and classic number two is, I mean, I guess this doesn't apply to us because we're what a lot of people call top players. But it's like classic number two is when you fight against a big name in ranked, and it doesn't matter if they use their main or not against you. But if you win, you're just straight like uploading that onto YouTube, and you just gotta put like a clickbait title saying like, "I beat Sonic Fox in ranked." Hashtag gone sexual. Hashtag cops called. Hashtag gone wrong.
Nah, I mean, man,
I
man,
I do that. I don't care.
me and Silverado was talking about that crap, man. Like, I wouldn't be the type of guy to upload a set that I got a hold of through rank.
I know.
I just feel like that's disrespectful, and that's happened to me. That's kind of why I kind of want to stray away from rank because it's happened to me a couple of times where I'll be trying out a character or something, and then somebody beats me. Like it happened. It happened. I think like a week ago.
Uh
I
huh.
lost to this Flash. This Flash. I think his name was I'm Rush,
Uh huh.
and I was, Hellboy had just came out, so I was, I'm trying to get my Hellboy right, and he beat me. Mind you, this connection was like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And when he uploaded, like I seen it on YouTube, I typed in Scar Hellboy because I wanted to see if anybody had any footage of my
Yo.
Hellboy.
Uh huh.
And next thing I know, this guy who I just played the same day
The same day.
has uploaded the footage, and it was like, yeah, Scar, Hellboy, I Rush, the greatest Flash player, and he bought me 3-0 in that horrible connection.
Oh my
And
god.
I tried to go Red Hood the last game, and he still beat me. But when he uploaded the set, his connection was smooth as butter. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
no wonder he was hitting that, hitting them combos, them flash combos, and that laggy ass connection because he didn't see no wrong. But that's just how it goes, man. If you in ranked, you have to watch out, man. If you're trying to try out a new character in ranked, chances are you might get Johnny Donuts uploading a set with you and him, and you might be trying to play a secondary or something, and he just uploaded, like it's an Evo set or something. I don't know.
And here's what I think is one of the additional like blowups of that. You said that on the third game you tried to go to Red Hood. So
I try to bring it back.
so basically what you did is you gave this guy bragging rights to say that he beat your Red Hood. It's not like it's not like you can OS and say that you used Hellboy the entire time. It's like you gave
I know,
him
right? Yeah. I messed up by doing that. I thought about this. I was like, man, he even beat my Red Hood, man. So it's like now I can't fully use the option select now, you know. But at the same time, it's like it was laggy, you know.
but the YouTube evidence doesn't show that. That's the problem.
I know, right? So it don't matter. It don't matter because when they watch it on YouTube, it's smooth. Man. I can't tell my side of the story. I'm not gonna sit there and tell 1,000 people like, hey, man, it was laggy. You know, I don't want to be that guy. So I just gotta hold it.
One classic that happened to me is I use Brainiac. I know you're probably gonna like throw up in your mouth because my Brainiac is terrible.
Yeah, I never. Whoa.
My Brainiac is terrible. Like it's bad. It's very bad.
Uh-huh.
And I fought this. I think it was like a cheetah player online, and he or she beat me the first game. And then I switched to Superman and ran it back the next 3 games. But this person like uploaded only the first game where he or she beat me.
Oh no!
Yeah,
that sucks, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's what they do, man. Did you go? Wait, okay. So you've seen the video?
I have seen the video. Yes.
Did you comment on it or did you leave it alone?
No, I don't comment on stuff like that.
Oh, okay, you got some people like if it was Civil Rights, you probably would have commented. You know Silver Rod, man. He gotta let it be known, man. Shout out to Silver Rod, man. That's the homie. Happy birthday to Silver Rod, by the way. Today is his birthday, so shout outs to that man.
Yeah, for sure. Shout outs to Silver Eye, and happy birthday to him, of course. And coincidentally, he has the same birthday as Kevin Conroy, the guy who does the voice acting for the Batman.
Batman.
Yep.
Okay, and is Kevin Conroy like 73?
I have no idea, but yeah, he is pretty darn old. So there's a huge controversy that came about a few days ago where Pig of the Hut made that poll on Dragon versus Sonic on who's the best and which tournaments carried more weight. And of course Ed Boon commented saying, stop stirring shit up, and that caused controversy there.
Hey, that was godlike.
And then, what caused controversy from that is whether we need, rivalries in our scene, and if rivalries are a vital part in keeping the game alive. So, now that I have you on the show, just give me your thoughts, man. What is your opinion? Are rivalries, needed for a game?
I think rivalries are hype, man. We need to get back to that, because in MK9, that's what MK9 was all about. It was all about rivalries. Nobody was friends. It was coast against coast. I even had a couple. I had a rivalry with M2 Dave. I would say I had a rivalry with Jago Blake. Uh-huh. He had a great Sonya, and we would go back and forth. But me and M2 Dave though, we talk shit. Mm-hmm. We talk shit about each other. We didn't like each other, man. And but it wasn't to the point where it was really outside the game. It was just shit talk inside the game. It wasn't just real beef, but it was more so about who was the better Freddy and stuff like that. And right. Oh, you don't play the character right, and I'll show you how to play the character. Or, you know what I'm saying? We was talking shit, and you really don't see that anymore nowadays. And even when I had my rivalry with Sonic, we wasn't shit talking back and forth through Twitter or anything like that. But when we got on that stage, when we was next to each other, we was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? I get up there and be like, I ain't fucking afraid of you, right? I'm finna beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? He's like, bring it, bitch. You know how you go. Yeah. You just talk shit, and it was just that rivalry. And you really don't see it a lot nowadays. Everybody's pretty much buddy. Everybody's giving out hugs. Y'all see it, man.
But hugs. But what's going on? Because I was I was around for Injustice 1 for a long time, and rivalries like the East Coast West Coast was really heated in that game
Yeah,
too.
even around in Injustice, man, you had rivalries, man. It was, but I don't know
But like
what happened.
you were obviously you were around for Mortal Kombat more than Injustice, and you were around for MKX, and of course you're obviously around in Injustice 2 now.
Mm.
Where did this whole hug boy buddy buddy thing come from? Like
Okay,
where?
look, yo, you think? Okay, I think I know why people are buddy buddy now.
Okay, explain for the whole chat, please.
Sonic Fox, and you want me to tell you why I say that?
Why?
It's because he's been so dominant that everybody is kind of just accepted like the second places and everything under that.
Okay.
And it's like I don't know, like if you're not first, everybody's just like content, I guess. It's like, okay, we made top eight.
Uh
Everything's good, boys. We made top eight. Congratulations. Okay, you beat me, man, but I made top eight. It's good, man. Come on, bring it in. And I feel like it's just because he's been so dominant, man. It's just I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like it's really no. Everybody's so focused on trying to take his spot.
huh. Uh huh.
I guess it's people haven't really had a chance to build rivalries because it's like everybody's rivaling with Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants what he has, and
Right.
they want to take him down. And the main focus is Sonic Fox. It's like we gotta. Everybody needs to band together to take out this guy. It's no
Right.
longer about this guy over here or this guy over here because they're not even dominant like that. You know what I'm saying? It's this guy who's so consistent and so dominant. We're tired of seeing this guy in first place. We need to do something about him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. Or everybody's content with being relevant now. And when I say relevant, being that guy who's consistently making top eights and who's being called a top player now, whether you're old or new. You know what I'm saying? You're being called a top player now. And now that you made it, you just want to maintain that because maybe you see that first place is being unattainable because this guy here is so dominant and everybody just figures that, hey, this guy runs the game, hand him the money now, and I guess it took that him being so dominant, it took that rivalry out of the scene, and I think that's where the buddies and the hugs and stuff came from. Everybody seemed like they were content. They've been made to be content. They don't want to be content, but it's like this guy is just such a god. We have no choice but to be content with second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. And I think that's where we're at, and we're now realizing that, and maybe we're trying to get out of that. And that's why you're hearing people say, "Hey, we need rivalries back," which I agree because it makes things more hype. It makes like having a storyline and history behind a match makes things more hype. That's why people were so intrigued by Silverai and Limbo's match.
Because that had some really heated. That had some like
exactly that was really big because things were said outside the game.
yeah
And when things
they
yeah
had genuine dislike for each other.
yeah that was genuine hate.
Yeah.
Because Limbo said some things about Rai's personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rai had to fire back, and, that made Rai look at him in a different light, evil light.
Yeah.
And, that's why we got, and everybody pretty much knew that because, it was being talked about in the chat and what happened. And like, oh, damn, this happened? Okay. Or like, we haven't really had a rivalry match in NRS, I feel like, since pretty much first we had Sonic Fox and PL. Everybody know that was infamous.
Yeah.
And then you had the I think it was Forever King versus Wong.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, and then after that, it kind of just died out. I think I agree with people, man. I think we need to bring that back, but the question is, you can't force it.
Yeah,
it
100%.
just has to happen. You know what I'm saying? It has to happen. You can't just put on a facade and be like, yeah, let's become rivals. No, it don't happen like that. It has to come naturally. Like with me and Sonic, it came from me just being that guy to always make it to second place and like, yo, if you wasn't knocking me down, I would easily have your spot. So it became me constantly trying to come back, and finally, knock him out that spot. And I finally did that at SCR 2016. And people didn't see my pop off, man, but I was so ecstatic, man. But they didn't catch that part. They just caught like the after report. But I was jumping around on that stage, man. I was just so happy to finally conquer my demon. The same thing. I feel like Dragon kind of had a little rivalry with him as well, as far as never beating him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, at final round, right?
yeah. So he finally ended that, and yeah, we need to get back to it, but it can't. It has to happen naturally. It can't be forced.
And at the same time, it shouldn't. Now, obviously, you have the debate on who's the best right now, Dragon or Sonic, because of E League, Evo versus IPS, and all of Sonic's premier wins. But no matter who's the best now, and no matter how dominant they are, it shouldn't discourage lower level players or mid level or like upper mid level players from wanting to beat each other. Like, for example, Coach Steve versus Star Charger. That was really heated, and I can safely say that it didn't matter that Sonic was the best at that time. My face was glued onto Twitter to see the exchange between these two people. Like,
Yeah,
that was probably the most entertaining, just like exchange of words between two players that I've seen in a long time in the NRS scene.
yeah.
And if their match ever happens, I will fight people to get a front row seat with some popcorn in that match because I really want to see what can come out after it. So it shouldn't matter who's the best. I agree with you that Sonic being so dominant had a hand in it. I agree with you, but it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't discourage any of that.
Mhm. Yeah. I shout out to Steve, man. Like,
The Savage.
I I don't know how that exactly started, but yeah, I remember seeing. I have a vague memory of the tweets, and I just know the tweets were savage
Yeah.
on both ends. And like I say, it stemmed from the game. It happened naturally. It stemmed from the game, and yeah, it really shouldn't. It really shouldn't deter people um, with him being so dominant. But like I said, for us to have these storylines and have the hype behind these matches and to have the hype behind these matches at the height of like the Sonic Fox and PL and stuff like that, it has to happen naturally, man. It has to happen somehow, but can't be forced.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I have to ask, since Injustice 2 is in the here and now, I've seen you in some tournaments in Injustice 1. I remember your Flash. I remember you played, Superman. I remember your Bane at Evo 2013. But I know that you also weren't around for a good chunk of that game. Um, so was making the transition to Injustice 2, like directly after MKX, was there any challenges that came from that? Because there was a good chunk of time in Injustice 1 where you weren't around. Did you see any challenges in making the transition immediately to Injustice 2?
Um, See, I played Injustice One, but didn't travel much for it. But I played it a lot locally for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. But it died down once MKX came around. But you still had the guys who made their name in Injustice One. They were still around, and back when it was time for it to roll around back to Injustice Two, they had played Injustice One again, got their feel back, which it really never completely left because this was the game that made them.
Mm-hmm.
And once Injustice Two rolled around, it kind of just like it automatically clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I was just so used to MKX, and this is the game that made me.
Right.
And you have people like that. You have a couple of players who this MK was their thing, and when Injustice 2 came out, they really didn't click well with it. Therefore, they crawled back into the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So here I am, but mainly a MK player, and I really wouldn't call myself an Injustice player,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's titled under the same the same banner, the NRS and stuff
Right.
like that. But it's not that game that brought me into the scene. It wasn't my first love. It was, you got MK who's been around 20 plus years, and then you have Injustice, which is NRS's baby. They're still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to figure exactly, what they want this game to be in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's why they made it a legacy game. They wanted to improve on what they did in Injustice 1. Maybe people had gripes with certain things in Injustice 1. They improved on that in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And we might get when this game comes back around, we might get a legacy. It might be a legacy game again with even more improvements, So
Yeah.
I love that. I love that they're doing that with the game. They're taking what changes they made
Mm-hmm.
in Injustice 1 throughout each patch, because the game, when it first came out, it was it was some crazy stuff in it, but they fixed it along the way. And when Injustice 1 died, okay, it died. Injustice 2 came around. Let's bring that stuff back, but make further improvements on it. And that's what they did.
Right.
But with MK, our formula is kind of different. It seems like every time an MK game rolls around, it's completely new.
Night and day.
It's
Yeah.
complete. The moves are new. Like nothing stays the same. So I really don't know what we're gonna get with MK11. But making the transition to Injustice 2, I didn't before the game came out. I didn't go back to Injustice 1 and drop because I really didn't like the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't feel like revisiting it. Even though I played it at the time, it was hot. I didn't want to go back and revisit it
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like it really wouldn't help me going into Injustice 2, because even though it was a legacy game, it didn't really play quite like Injustice 1 because they made improvements to the mechanics and different things like that. So I felt like I didn't have any reason to go back.
Uh-huh.
So going back to Injustice 2, I had to kind of wing myself off of MK tendencies. I would find myself like trying to do mid-air throws, like I do a combo and then like try to grab you, but you can't grab anybody out the air in Injustice 2 unless you got like an air grab or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's a grind and it's a struggle, and I knew I was gonna take my L's, and I'm taking my L's, but I'm also improving. I'm getting W's. I'm making strides as well.
Of course.
But it's an uphill battle, and it's a battle that I knew was gonna be an uphill one before I even started competing in the game. But I'm so I was so happy that I made it into that 16 slot in the finals. And actually, Summer Jam was my first top 8 in any Injustice game. So a lot of people don't know that, but that was my first top 8 in the Injustice game. Period. So that was a huge accomplishment for me.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, I the more I play the game, and the more I play the game for the game, even though I had my gripes with this game as well, I'm trying to have that mindset of, try not to, even though I have my gripes, just play the game for what it is. And that's kind of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that. I started doing that with MKX, and I just have to treat it like that, because with MKX, I had my gripes. Everybody had their gripes with MKX with the 50-50s and the craziness and stuff like that. But while everybody from my own state, well, should I say my city, they were, they had their gripes with the game. My own training partners, they kind of moved away from the game because, they was traveling for it, but they kept getting hit by the 50-50s and dumb stuff. And they was like, you know what, screw this game. We're not playing anymore. Sorry, Scar. You have to do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to play with my boys, but I couldn't play with my boys. I had to do the online thing. And that's kind of what happened with this game here too. But now I got training partners like you and Sonic, and just a whole network of top players.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I don't have those people to grind with in my own city like that, I still have that huge network online. So it helps me with the grind. It helps me with improvements, and I've tried to better myself with my labbing and stuff like that. So I still have a lot of work to do in this game. The transition has it's been smoother than what I initially thought it was gonna be,
Uh-huh.
honestly. And I thought it was gonna be just terrible, but the transition hasn't been so bad as I thought it was gonna be, and I'm happy with uh, the accomplishments that I made in season one.
For sure, for sure. Now, before I get into two audience questions that I have for you, I have the most important question that I've been waiting to ask to you like ever since this podcast started. So I see you posted on Twitter that you shaved your head, but
Mhm.
I just want to say that I'm very disappointed that you didn't go all the way in getting
Oh
everything off
man,
the because look,
I
you
can't
play
do it.
Brainiac. You play Brainiac. You can't go on Twitter and go on your stream saying you have 12th level intellect if you don't shave your head all the way. So can you please explain why you didn't do it? Why are
I
you at
just
11th level intellect, man?
Hey man, it's November, man. It's kind of cold out there. I want to leave a little bit of shade on the head, man. Give me a little bit of warmth. Maybe when it passes, I do the complete shade thing. But right now, I'm rocking the shade, man. I gotta do the shade. You could say that I backed out at the last minute or what, but we gotta do the shade for right now. I gotta ease into it. I can't just go in like that, man, because I wouldn't be comfortable with myself doing it.
You can't jump into the 12th level.
Yeah,
You have to
I
earn
can't
it.
just yeah, I can't just jump into the 12th level. I got to go to like the 10th level first, and then what I'm saying, bump up to the 12th later on.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So I have two audience questions for you, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
uh,
So Noble Tweety is saying that why do you have a rivalry against him, and why did you pop off on him after the War of the Gods match? He felt really really hurt after that.
no, I didn't pop off on Tweety, man. Because when we was playing, I had a chat open sometimes, and I see. I pay my matches, then I look over at the chat and see what people saying, and I'm like, oh, okay, this person right here talking shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So I'm playing Tweety. I went down 0-2.
Uh huh.
People calling me. I'm seeing shit in the chat like, "Oh, this just is a Scars game. Scars need to pack it up. Scars washed." Like, all right, bro. I can't practice my red hood. Mind you, this is the first time me bringing my red hood in the tournament. I can't play my red hood.
Right.
I go
Right.
down 0-2. I can't practice my red hood in the tournament. So I'm like, all right. So I just keep playing, and eventually, I clutch it out against Tweety. It came down to the wire too, and I clutched it out. So I'm already pissed about the chat thing. So as soon as I beat him,
Mm-hmm.
I would have had to hold those comments if I didn't beat Tweety, mind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I beat Tweety, so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking pop off on everybody in this fucking chat who said some shit. So I went in there and I just started saying, fuck y'all, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, like, oh, I suck because I'm trying to try out my red hood, but it's whatever. So I mean that's how that went. I didn't really have a it wasn't really a personal attack towards Tweety.
Of course. Makes sense. So I'm sure he'll feel much better after that explanation.
Yeah.
And then the last question comes from Justin Daniel. His Twitter handle is @Triz. He's saying, "Do you have any friendly rivalries in the NRS scene?" Which I know you touched on earlier with Sonic and MKX, but I guess is there any other rivalries, like friendly rivalries that you have?
I think it's a friendly rivalry going on with me and Nupcakes.
Uh huh.
And that just developed online. Because we just started playing each other on a regular basis. And
Mm-hmm.
we go back and forth. And I feel like there's a rivalry there. Also with Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him play a lot, so I feel like there's a rivalry there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would still say I have rivalries with you and Sonic because you guys were the main ones taking me out of tournaments. So I got a personal vendetta with you guys.
Man.
Yeah, I think those are friendly. Those are friendly rivalries for me. Other than that, I don't have rivalries with anybody.
Well, just know that like if we play in tournament and then let's say you're up like 1 or 2-0, I'll just like go into your ear and say I'm gonna have to recalculate my strategy against you, son.
Yeah, I remember that shit. Dog. Like, streaming and shit. We in a set, and he's like trying to figure out. I forgot what character I was playing. And he was like, fixed his glasses and shit. Like, I have to recalculate my strategy here. Damn, stream. What do you guys think I should do? I was like, look at this guy recalculating strategies and shit. This is rocket science now, Theo. Hey, damn.
Well, Fucking pre-patch Red Hood is rocket science. You have to do
Yeah.
all kinds of recalculations for pre-patch Red Hood, bro.
Am I gonna launch immediate, bro? Or I'm just gonna launch regularly? That's rocket science. That's the mix up right there.
It basically is. It basically is.
But thank God they toned it down, man. So now your homework will be a little bit easier now.
Yeah, now I don't have to pop off on my stream chat as much, like with the whole recalculation rant that I read on.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
But hey, man, so I mean, it's getting to be about the hour for me, or for us. So at this point, I want to basically ask you, do you have any shout outs that you want to give before we go ahead and close shop on the podcast, man?
Shout out to, of course, Echo Fox. All my players, my members that I'm with as part of this organization, managers and everybody. The whole FGC, the Cage Boys. Yeah, man. Everybody who I've met over the years, all my friends, family. Shout out to everybody like that, man. And that's all the shout outs I got.
For sure. And of course, I want to give a shout out to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the podcast. And so if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and give both me and Scar a follow on our Twitch and social medias. I'll go ahead and leave his social medias on the YouTube description. But yeah, so thank you guys.
Yeah, I want to know how badass this. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it got the Echo Fox logo on that. Look at that. That shit is badass, bro. Y'all get y'all one of these jackets, man. Even if you're not even a part of the squad, just support the squad, man. This jacket is too official.
It is way too badass. I remember like those jackets feel like that. They the foxy thing, just like that.
Yes.
But yeah, everyone, thank you guys so much for watching. That wraps up another episode of Last Podcast of Krypton. Till next week. See you guys next time.
Peace.
Go ahead and get us off stream.